Hello and welcome to Learn British English Free on YouTube and Facebook. My name is Chris. I'll be your teacher for this lesson. I'm working through a set of requests from earlier in the year, and this one is again from Mirat. Thank you, Mirat. And the question was around vocabulary or material to do with London and a specific news article from the BBC about old jobs. So the level for this lesson is extremely advanced because we're looking at stuff that even native speakers won't know about. This is about old jobs which are no longer done. So we'll be having a little journey through from maybe 100 years ago or more, old jobs which no longer exist in London, which is the capital of England. I live in Cambridge, as you may know from previous lessons, which isn't far from London. And I've been there many times, of course, for weekend activities, and some of my friends live there. This article, first of all, please do have a look in the notes, in the description, or in the comments. I'll post the link there, and it'd be best if we read through it together. Like I say, this will be very difficult, though, for pretty much everyone, so don't worry if you can't, but do bring it up on your computer or device so you can read it at the same time to help you. The title is London's Callings. This is a pun, a play on words. A very famous old song by a British band called The Clash did a song called London Calling. And calling is a word which also can mean something like job, like this is my purpose or my job in life. This is what I was meant to do. We sometimes call that a calling. So London's Callings, odd, obsolete and old jobs in the capital. I'm not going to read the whole article word for word. I'm going to simply touch on the different jobs which are listed. It's by someone called Bethan Bell, and I'm scrolling down now. There's an introduction, and the vocabulary is very difficult. The first one is tosher. I'm looking at the pictures of people in the sewers. What is a tosher? A tosher was a person who scavenged in the sewers for valuables. Scavenge is a verb. It means that you look for something of valuable where you probably wouldn't expect it. Tosh was a word for copper. In the old days, copper, a type of metal, was deemed very valuable, obviously. Not so much now. Other things are more valuable, like diamonds. Interestingly, tosh is a word which has become slang. We can also use it to describe nonsense or rubbish, especially when people are talking about something you don't agree with them. You can say that's tosh. So that's the first job, a tosher. What they were looking for was tosh, and therefore the person is tosher. Again, this thing put an ER at the end, like teach and teacher. Hopefully this isn't nonsense, though. All right, the second one, knob thatcher. Goodness me, this sounds quite rude these days if we consider slang again, but I won't go into that in this lesson. For once, I won't make it a rude lesson. A knob thatcher was someone who made men's wigs. Wigs are the type of the hair that you put on the head for men that don't have much hair or want a particular hairstyle. Moving swiftly on, cullet picker. This is new again. Cullet pickers were another type of scavenger, this time of used glass. So the first one, a tosher, looked for tosh in the sewers, and cullet pickers look for used glass. And therefore you can recycle it or make it into other new things. And there's another one later on, another type of person who used to scavenge for things. So it's a common thing back in the day. So important to recycle materials or keep using them. Next one, bummery. As you probably know, this sounds a bit rude as well. Bummeries used to buy in bulk from auctioneers and portion the fish, isn't it? Fish to the fishmongers. We call this a middleman these days, someone who buys materials or produce or something, then sells it on to someone else, and they, of course, will make profit from this transaction. But, of course, in a lot of cases, if the two parties on either side traded directly, it might be quite a lot cheaper. I won't go into that now. Next one, lob lolly boys. Goodness me, what could this mean? So lob lolly was a thick oatmeal like oat, so you make porridge and other things from it. And they used to work on warships in the Navy. So in the UK, the part of the army that fights in the sea on board warships is the Navy. They used to have to do quite unpleasant things. So the one thing to do with the oats was to feed it to sick people, like an assistant role, but they used to feed it to the sick people. But they also used to have to do other things like helping with surgery and doing very unpleasant jobs. So that one definitely would not be for me. Now, where's the next one I'm looking for? I think it's hard to see it. Yes, ice harvesters. There are a series of hyperlinks, and they forgot to make the text big for this next one. Ice harvesters. What did they do? Well, they used to get ice, of course. They used to go out of London to more northern parts, to Highgate, Hampstead, or Enfield. The ponds at those locations were the best sites to reap ice. They used to have to work quickly because they used to have to break the ice on the ponds or the rivers, pile it into their carts or whatever, take it back to main London, where they used to keep it in wells underground deep down, I guess because it can stay cold enough there that the ice remains as ice and doesn't thaw, and then they can sell it to fishmongers and stuff at other times. Last one, I believe, is Badgy Fiddler. This is to do with boy trumpeters and buglers used to play instruments for the army. They sound similar to bagpipes. You've probably heard of bagpipes, most famous from Scotland. So these people used to play with the army to make music for the songs and other motivational pieces. Badgy Fiddler is the final one from this lesson, and I'm going to stop there. This is really a bit niche and unusual. Thanks for Mirat, as always, for the interesting suggestion. However, don't worry, it's something very obscure, so you probably won't need to learn it or worry about it if it's a bit out of your comfort zone. I'm a bit confused myself. But there we go. As I promised, I'm working through these sets of requests from which I reached out for earlier in the year. So that's another one completed. Thanks to the BBC too for their article, London's Callings, Odd, Obsolete and Old Jobs in the Capital. This is Chris for Learn British English Free, and also on this occasion for Mirat. Thank you to Mirat and for everyone else for watching. I'll be back soon with another request. See you then. Bye-bye.